welcome back. We've been talking through the morning with ministers, those who head state governments, disability rights advocates, people who make policies about how to create greater accessibility, because ultimately this is what this is entirely about. What can you and I do to begin with? Just a few suggestions. Head over to our website, ndtv.com/Samarth, and pledge to play your part, because that's so important in empowering those with disabilities. If you're a corporate, build the spaces that welcome the disabled. Create the policies that make place for them, sensitize the workforce that can become their allies. These are just a couple of common sense suggestions, but so important. I want to come across here very quickly, in fact, to Dr. Rajkumar, business head of the Adani Realty Group. Thanks very much. It's been wonderful to have you over here. And it's also important for us because it's an occasion for a big announcement in support of this very noble cause.
First of all, I would like to thank Hyundai for conducting such a wonderful program, and which helps the overall society in a very inclusive way. And we do understand there's a requirement of inclusion of all the people with different abilities to come up in hand with the people who are able. So we would like to take certain pledge, and as a process I would like to read out those pledges, those commitments to all of us. So in anticipation the evolving landscape, Adani Group pledge and recognize the imperative for a well-planned intervention over the next 3 years through this platform. This strategic initiative is designed not only to enhance our support for persons with disabilities, but also to strengthen the culture that goes beyond mere words, demonstrating our proactive commitment to fostering inclusivity within our organization. Our commitments towards these initiatives are, most important is inclusive hiring initiative. So at Adani, we have planned to have 200 plus persons with disabilities to hire within next 3 years on various functions, wherever it suits. Recognizing the wealth of talent and diversified perspective they bring to our organization. The second is sensitization workshop. So our goal is to achieve the full participation of individuals directly involved in hiring, reporting, and all support functions, reaching a 100% engagement rate. The third is career development opportunities. So all we are talking about the employment as a whole. Our organization commits to actively promoting career development opportunities for persons with disabilities through skill building programs, job rotations, and executive leadership program to ensure equal access to professional growth once they are in. Fourth is the flexible work arrangements. We also understand some flexibility is required despite of whatever we do, right? So we commit to provide flexible work arrangements to accommodate the diverse need of individuals, because the disabilities are different in nature. The diverse need of individuals who are differently abled. And the last and not the least, wellness program for differently abled individuals. Our initiative includes access to counseling service, participation in wellness campaigns, and the creation of stigma-free environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So just a small example of what the Adani Group is doing over there. We've got so much more to talk about, and I'm just going to come and sit right next to you. Well, as we said earlier, this pledge is not and should not be for corporates alone. We can all make a pledge to make a difference by changing our attitudes and perceptions, by asking questions of the spaces around us, and by teaching our kids, our children about disabilities, what they can do to the body and what they can't stop anyone from achieving. Now, we have some wonderful guests with us.
Absolutely.
And Dhanya's very keen to introduce them. Why don't you go ahead?
Thanks, Vishnu. I think rightly said, we all need to just rework with our mindset, and there's a big possibility. And this is something that we started today, Samarth by Hyundai. So just inviting the next panel speakers.
Dhanya, I must tell you, that I've got a hero of mine right here on this stage, right now. Dr. Chona taught me at Delhi Public School, R.K. Puram. She was my principal.
Wow.
Tamanna is somebody who I have known for 35 years plus.
Okay, awesome. So I like to understand, like, we all speak with a parent. And what is it like to be a parent of a person with disability? And how does you create the sensitivity? And how has it been as a journey as a mother?
He was just going to be our child and treat him like our older son. And we gave him every opportunity. We took him on every holiday, every outing, every restaurant. We never said, oh, maybe he can't do this. Oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. He just went with us and we've just done that from day one. He's 22 today. He has good days. He has bad days. He's wicked as hell, if I could use that term. Naughty. His teachers are sitting right here who can say that. But we never, ever thought we would make any difference in his life.
So you're naughty, huh? You're naughty and with your mom and your friends.
Well, he may not answer because, you know, he's a little shy. But, I mean, he's done things like really naughty. He's angry with our helper. So he locked her outside and locked all the doors. So the guard from downstairs had to tell us. I said, what did she do? He said, I told her, let's go and play. And she said, no, I'm busy.
Right.
So I was just about to ask, like, how did you actually assist him to be in this world?
So we decided from the beginning, and we had a lot of family support, that we would do everything in our ability to help him. If it was early intervention, we were living overseas for 25 odd years, and we decided to come back when he turned 18, or just short of 18, because India was a country where we wanted to live. And he needed to come and be in touch with who he is. You know, we lived in the Middle East, we lived in Australia, all very well. Wonderful life, but he needed to come and understand this is his country, this is where he needs to live. And we then got introduced. We first thought we'd put him into Vasant Valley, he was too old, and we went to Pallavanjali, which is where Nikhil's now at the institute. And I can't tell you, it has transformed him.
Yeah.
He's become independent, he spends nights out, he goes on holidays, he does it all. He plays tennis, he swims, he gets disciplined like any other child. He routinely gets disciplined. There's no, oh, let it be, you know, usko pata nahi. There's no pata nahi. He knows. And he has to be aware that what is right and what is wrong.
Right.
So that is our journey.
Dr. Chona, let me ask you, ma'am, you used to teach us in school, you were our principal, and you know, there were thousands of us at Delhi Public School, R.K. Puram, and you were a particular type of educator, very strict one also, by the way. But when you went back home, you had to cater to Tamanna, her very special needs, her needs in growing up, her emotional requirements. How for you was it such a challenge, you know, from working in that school environment, and then coming back home and being an educator and a friend and a mother in a very different sense?
If I can have a student like you, then my mothering became very easy. Dear friends, you'll be so surprised that I didn't really bring up Tamanna alone. The whole student community was bringing up Tamanna. And that's a fact. I would sometimes bring her to the school itself, and all the kids wanted to help me. They said, ma'am, you go teach. We'll play with her. We'll look after her. And that gave her the confidence to be with more and more people. She was not in a world by herself. She was in a world of dipsides. So Vishnu being an example, you can understand what fortune I had. For me, DPS and home, kids and my own kids were one. And I think that's what makes a difference in the life of a teacher. I was in DPS for 40 years. Tamanna turns 53. And when I came to DPS, and she was just about 13, but the doctor said that she is like a 3-year-old baby. So you appreciate what I'm trying to say. She was 10 years behind time, having been born with cerebral palsy and delayed milestones. But I did not leave one stone unturned to be able to reach out to the physiotherapist, speech therapist, and the school, DPS, the society, gave me 2 years at different times to take her to UK and USA for education, where I also educated myself. And that's how 40 years ago we set up Tamanna. And today we have thousands of students who passed out of Tamanna, and they're also working. All I'm trying to say is that you need the community to bring up Tamannas of the world. I wouldn't be flattering really NDTV, but we need more such programs.
Can we just ask Tamanna the question?
Yeah.
That, like I as a person with disability, we come across a lot of questions, like what you can do, what you cannot do. So I really feel like fixing a ramp or a braille is much easier. So Tamanna, would you just maybe Tamanna or ma'am can just answer, how do you kind of deal with, rework with the attitude, access to attitude and perceptions, where we can be accepted the way we are or meant to be. How do you think we can create such a space, or how did you create that?
Actually, all my friends used to make fun of me. That became a joke, and I told them, first look at yourself. And basically, actually, I'm very friendly person. I love to take phone numbers, and I love to be friends with everybody. And basically, I've come a long way. I think disability is not a big disease. If I can do it, so can you guys. And I was being taken to America for my treatment, and I was being taken to Vellore. Then I came on the TV that Halloween night, and basically then I became a witch, where I used to scare everybody there, and then basically now I'm a teacher with small babies. I have a child in my class in nursery D class. Her name is Meher. So she can't speak, though she can write very well. So we are training her how to speak and all that. And her nanny comes. Basically, I think disability can be cured, and the people can understand that disability can be overcome. Actually, I'm not disabled, I'm enabled also.
Absolutely, and I think that's just such a encouraging, Tamanna, and wonderful thing to say. But I wanted to actually ask a question to you and similar to what I asked Tamanna, Dhanya asked Tamanna about perceptions and battling perceptions and stereotype and stigma. As a parent, I mean, how do you deal with it?
So now you've touched a really raw nerve, okay? So Nikhil is very chatty with friends, but is a little shy in a public space. What I find so difficult, I can deal with anything, I can fight any battle. But when children lock like a football field, you have in a condominium, you have them locked, and make him sit outside. And I think that awareness, when parents send their children down to play, we live in a condo, so I can come from only there. is that when you leave him out, he has feelings. He comes home with tears. That is my toughest battle, is how do I overcome, how do I explain to him that they don't want to play with you, because that's what it is. They don't want to play with you because maybe he's different. He does look different. And that awareness has to come from deep within our society. It's not all right to say, oh, ho, chalo, isko line mein, let him go in front of the line. No. There has to be, and when they say, oh, there's inclusion, it has to come from deep within every parent to allow that child to be included. There is a parent in our condo who's very kind to him and allows him. But one man is not going to turn the tide. Yes, every drop makes, a difference. Or they'll do things like, throw stones at him and get him agitated. Anybody will get agitated if you're teased. It's not peculiar to him, it's to any child.
And it's a constant battle.
It's a constant battle. In fact, if I didn't have a network of friends, family, fellow parents who were there to calm me down, I don't know. I mean, one day I just decided that, I just need to publish the kind of messages that are going around, like you need to keep out, like if you have a dog who has rabies and who has to be kept out, that kind of message, I still have it. It's a reality check for me to realize that it's not all roses. The roses are there, like I know Mrs. Chona personally, she's family to me. She's always said, don't worry, you can fight this battle. You can fight every battle, but you can't fight when someone is being mean to your child.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is very hurtful for a parent.
Dr. Chona, is that something, I know you would have gone through as well, fighting stigma. Did you at times in your own life feel exhausted or tired that how long am I going to be able to actually do this?
Vishnu, I'd like to introduce myself as Mrs. Chona, whom you see, confident, happy, smiling, social. And there is another Mrs. Chona which is inside that Mrs. Chona. That Mrs. Chona is hidden, which I would like to share with you.
Yeah, just put the...
I am taking you to another level of this discussion, and that level is the one that we all need to give attention to. What about our children after us? You have the best of friends, you have the best of family, but finally, we are going to outlive them. So, has the government thought about assistive living, where you can have a lifestyle which matches the lifestyle of an individual child with any kind of a problem, that will be able to take the responsibility of high standard, and not of the kind that we hear about the orphanages run by the government. What we are looking for is land, we are looking for cottages, we are looking for psychologists, as in Germany, in Europe, in America. In most of the countries, these kids live together and they are actually taken responsibility of. What I fear at this age is that Tamanna has had the best of time. She has a very, very loving brother and sister-in-law. But finally, Tamanna is not the whole world. There is this situation where we need to think about 50 years from now, 40 years from now, 30 years from now, what's going to happen. So I would like, there's a lot of corporate presence here, to think about it, and there are enough people who will put their heads together to run these small homes where there are play fields, there are some kind of leisure activities, like you have, already set up in Dehradun and some places, where old people can live. We should not be having this program only on the day of disability. We should have part of the day in every channel devoted to that 10 to 15% of the population that requires to be understood, where awareness has to be created, where an atmosphere of life of acceptability has to be created. We need a kind of literature which has not been promoted about stories about people where, you know, others can read each other to know how common their problems are. We should be celebrating a super ability day. There is no such word as a disability. This is actually, they are more enabled. The kind of emotions, the love, the affection, the kind of feelings they have is much greater than any of us, where we get very, individualistic, ego comes to play, our careers become more important, but they are the ones who are giving, giving and giving. The love that they have, the purity of love that they have is absolutely divine.
Go ahead, you wanted to say something, Tamanna?
Actually, now, let's take a pledge by standing up.
Sure, let's all stand up. Come.
Disability
Disability
is not a disease.
is not a disease.
We shall overcome it.
We shall
We shall overcome it.
And so can you do it.
And you can also do it.
And so that I can also do it.
And so that I can also do it.
And it can be cured with a lot of help.
It can be cured with a lot of help.
And I would like to announce that we can take a step forward
we can take a step forward
about disability.
about disability.
Thank you.
Thank you. How wonderful. And I think that's just a brilliant way for us to segue into a small break. And I'd like to thank you all very much for
I
being
think,
with us with the
Vishnu,
promise
just
that we
adding
have.
a
Yeah,
note.
go ahead.
Just adding a note, Vishnu, that we say it takes a village to raise a boy, and like ma'am said, sustainability is adding to the pledge of what Tamanna said. I'd just like to say this same thing, following the popular saying that it takes a village to raise a boy, and Samarth by Hyundai is just doing that, creating more celebration, and I'm sure it will not end just by today. Rather, it's just going to be a beginning for persons with disability to feel accepted.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Actually, I want to say one more thing. I have written a book also. I am Tamanna, and with the help of Aditi, and I am a painter. Thank you.